So I have a question. If Spinarak is based on a spider and arachnophobes are scared of spiders, does that mean that arachnophobes are also scared of Spinarak, or at least some of them? Because it just makes me think that must be really awful to be watching Pokemon, enjoying it and all that, and then suddenly there's just one episode that you literally cannot watch because it has some kind of spider creature in it. And it got me thinking about loads of different phobias and stuff and how maybe that's a thing. Like, I'm personally quite scared of moths, but like a Venomoth based episode doesn't really bother me that much. But is there anybody out there that genuinely can't watch an episode of Pokemon because of some kind of phobia? Just let me know. Like, this isn't even a joke to start the video. This is just, you know what? This is the perfect time to ask the question. So I guess now we'll do the episode, but let me know. We begin the episode with a direct quote from the narrator.
Today, our heroes are passing through Catalia City, famous for...
Let me stop you right there. It's not famous for anything. It's not even in the games. It's a filler city for a filler episode. Brock then chases a police car like he's a fucking Labrador and says,
I bet there's an Officer Jenny in that patrol car.
Wow, Brock, what incredible powers of deduction. How did you guess that it would be Officer Jenny in that car when there are just so many options? Like Officer Jenny, or Officer Jenny, or Officer Jenny, or I don't know, maybe Officer Jenny. Oh, and let's not forget Officer Jenny. Not gonna lie, I kind of wish Spinarak was a bug and psychic type and looked like this. Although technically it already does look like this. But I mean more like levitating in this position and not having the 6 legs. I reckon that would have been pretty cool. Although nowadays we do have Orbeetle that is bug and psychic, and that's a pretty rad Pokemon in itself. But back then, this would have been awesome. Let's just address it real quickly. Spinarak Attack might be the laziest episode title we've ever had. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the previous episode title, Flower Power, was pretty shit. But this? Jesus Christ, Pokemon, phone it in, why don't you? We then see Team Rocket trying to break into a building dressed as the famed cat burglar, the Black Arachnid. Hang on, let me get this straight. You're trying to commit a crime, but you're dressed as a different criminal. So to avoid someone noticing that you're Team Rocket and probably burgling, you've disguised yourself as another burglar. And not to mention, there's 2 of you dressed as the same burglar. Team Rocket, I know you love cosplay, but this is ridiculous. Use your noodles. Jesse has a go at Meowth for failing to pick the padlock and breaking his claw, when James had a perfectly good lockpick the whole time. If he had that with him, what was the point in Meowth using his claw and ultimately breaking it? Hashtag justice for Meowth. Direct quote from James.
It worked! I'm a burglar!
Not really a WTF moment, but I was writing this script at 2 o'clock in the morning and I thought James said he was a burger. And now I just really want a burger. James tells Jesse the pottery they found could fetch an absolute mint, and Jesse tells James he could really use a breath mint. James has arsehole breath. Confirmed. Team Rocket make their escape by throwing bottle caps at the guy who discovers them, and the next day, Officer Jenny sees those bottle caps on the ground and says,
Looks like payday!
Jenny mate, what are you talking about? Payday scatters coins everywhere, not bottle caps. Like, who the hell in the Pokemon world is getting paid in bottle caps? Exactly, no one. Jenny's a numpty. Pass it on. One of the other officers tells Jenny they think they found the criminals, and then we see Ash, Misty and Brock wrapped up in a ton of Spinarak webs. Mate, they bumped into one Spinarak? What the hell did they do to end up completely wrapped up like this? Because whatever must have happened must have escalated very quickly. Now let's see if we can make this video's place in the YouTube algorithm escalate by you twatting the like button, sharing the video on social media and leaving a lovely comment down below. And if you can't think of a lovely comment, leave something generic like
Spinarak? More like spinner twat, am I right?
Or just comment the name of the secret Pokemon I've hidden somewhere in the video. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button and set notifications to always on so you never miss an episode of Pokemon WTF Moments or anything on my channel. Thank you as always for getting us to 1.75 million subscribers. I know it doesn't look like that right now, but if you subscribe today, maybe YouTube will add that extra 0. And of course, don't forget to check out my live streams on Twitch, otherwise you'll miss out on stuff like this.
Oh, fuck off, you dick.
Okay, I mean, fair, like, I'd be annoyed.
When Officer Jenny mentions that the criminal they're trying to catch is imitating the Black Arachnid, we get this direct quote from Brock.
The Black Arachnid was a master criminal who lived here over 100 years ago, right, officer?
Brock, mate, how the hell could you possibly know that? You've shown bugger all knowledge of Johto so far, but suddenly you know about one of their famed master criminals? I don't buy it. I reckon you just overheard one of the other officers talking about the Black Arachnid, and now you're just pretending you know everything about it. Jenny notices that Ash and Misty have a Pikachu and a Togepi, and Ash asks them if they're the professional Pokemon crime fighters she heard about from her sister in New Barktown. Come off it, mate. Just because they help one Totodile get back to its trainer, they're professional Pokemon crime fighters. That's like saying that since Ash has already caught at least one Pokemon on his journey, he's already a Pokemon master. I'm just saying, don't swell this kid's head anymore. It's already bad enough he thinks he's a good trainer. Suddenly, Spinarak comes down on its web again. But wait, where did it come from? Ash and friends and Jenny are out in the open, away from any buildings, away from any trees or any lampposts or anything like that. So where is Spinarak's web coming from? Is it just coming from the sky? Direct quote from the Pokédex.
Spinarak, the string spit Pokemon. Spinarak can climb any surface easily and can shoot a strong web from both the front and back of its body.
The front and the back. Well, fair play to the guy who decided not to call Spinarak the string squirt Pokemon, I guess. And if you didn't get that one, you're probably just a little bit too young to be watching this content, mate. Also, Spinarak can jizz on command. Pass it on. During Officer Jenny's story about the black arachnid, we see his Meowth actually using Payday. And it still baffles me that we never see this move ever again in the Pokemon anime. Apparently, this Spinarak is descended from the same Spinarak Officer Jenny's ancestor, Officer Jenny, used to stop the black arachnid. Now that's cool and all and makes sense since all this Spinarak stuff is confined to just this one city. But the thing I don't get is, why don't they evolve the Spinarak into Ariados? Surely Ariados can make stronger webs and more of them and is more effective in the event of a confrontation, so why don't they just evolve their Spinarak? Because surely if you're purely not letting them evolve so that they fit the aesthetic, that's a little bit inhumane, is it not? Jenny explains that ever since her ancestor caught the black arachnid, all the Jennies have built such close relationships with their Spinarak that they've become their most valued partners. Brock then says,
I wish I was a Spinarak.
Brock, mate, that's not the kind of partner she means. You really think these Officer Jennies are getting down and dirty with their Spinarak? Don't be a numpty. Oh God, I've just realised though, someone's probably drawn that. I hate people so much. After Ash offers to help catch the criminal, Jenny says Ash and friends really are Pokemon crime fighters, and Ash says he'd like to think so. Misty responds with,
You've never liked to think before.
and I tell you what, credit where it's due. There is not a single Growlithe in this police station, but Ash still managed to get burned. Meanwhile, James is protesting the use of his prized bottle cap collection to mimic Payday, and Jessie asks him if he's a cat burglar or a baby. His response?
I guess I'm more of a baby burglar.
James steals kids. Confirmed. Team Rocket decide to send a letter detailing their next crime, so they can commit that crime under the noses of the police and therefore become famous. Guys, this is so unnecessary. You're in Team Rocket, therefore you're already famous. People see your Team Rocket uniform and instantly know you're criminals. This black arachnid stuff is pointless. Not gonna lie, Brock saying the Crime Fighters Committee will now come to order and Ash responding with,
If we've come to order, I'll go first. I'll have a burger and a large fries.
gave me a genuine chuckle. What can I say? I'm a sucker for stupid wordplay. Not really a WTF moment, but look at this thing. Badass Blastoise statue is badass. Pass it on. Mate, imagine making an extravagant trophy, even going as far as to give it a molded Dragonair handle, and depicting it with awesome Pokemon like Lapras, and then just adding Oddish. A bog standard run-of-the-mill Oddish. I wonder if putting the Oddish on there was a prank by the guy who designed it, you know, because it is kind of hidden by the handle, sort of. This Pidgey Cuckoo Clock has Chatot's in-game cry. Don't believe me? Go back and listen to it. It sounds exactly like Chatot. Gen 2 Chatot confirmed. Mate, I really do hate that Jenny just walks around with a Spinarak stuck to her back. It just makes me worried she's gonna slip over and crush it or something. That's one of the biggest factors of me being scared of Atlas moths and things like that. I'm more scared of crushing them than anything else. Ash says not to worry because they've never lost a single case. I mean, technically, he's not wrong. Although I don't know what Jenny's on about when she says they're in good hands with a record like that. Mate, 1-0 isn't much of a record at all. Now, if we're talking numbers, 10 would be much better. Like 10% off GFuel! That's right, if you use our channel's code, which is ACE, you will save yourself 10% on your GFuel order. Ain't I good to you? Also, it helps me out because it helps support the channel, so ain't you good to me? Today, I am drinking the wonderful Shiny Splash. It's blueberry lemonade. Thank you to A-Drive for bringing us Shiny Splash into the world. It's so wonderful. It's one of the top 10 GFuel flavors. It is amazing and wonderful and lovely and refreshing and tasty. Oh, it's so bloody good. Go get yourself a tub of Shiny Splash, go get yourself a tub of any of the other wonderful flavors of G Fuel, and when you do, stick our code ACE in the checkout box and you'll save 10% on your G Fuel order. Remember though, G Fuel is for over 18s only because it contains caffeine, and children don't need to be anywhere near caffeine. They're annoying enough as it is, and of course because it contains caffeine, just drink it responsibly. Don't be a dickhead. Mate, is Ash's Heracross not the ropiest Pokemon you've ever seen? Calm down, I said ropiest. It's out of its Pokeball for 2 seconds and it's already sucking on Bulbasaur and trying to mount it, much to Bulbasaur's chagrin. Look, I know I normally defend Ash's Heracross, but it definitely belongs on some kind of register for stuff like this. Ash tells all his Pokemon to hide in appropriate places, so Squirtle hides in a pool, Bulbasaur hides among the flowers, and Heracross hides up a tree. Ash tells Charizard to go wherever he likes, and Charizard comes up with this. Ah yes, of course, what do most people keep next to their water fountains? That's right, a fire fountain. Yeah, mate, I don't think this is gonna fool anybody. Plus, won't most people just question why Venusaur isn't in this display? Oh no, you're right. No one will care about Venusaur, just like always. But still, if keeping the Pokemon hidden is so important, why not just keep them in the Pokeballs until they're actually needed? Direct quote from Ash.
I can't believe all that thread came from one Spinarak.
Mate, if you think that's impressive, wait till you're a grown-up. Then you'll be surprised by the amount of white stuff that can come from one human. Jenny says that Spinarak's web is so strong that the black arachnid will never be able to get out of it. Bollocks! Look at Ash and Co. They were completely wrapped up in Spinarak's web earlier, and they're not still trapped in it now. I get that you love your Spinarak, Jenny, but don't try and make it seem cooler than it is by telling obvious lies. Ash says the black arachnid must not be a very nice person because he's keeping them up past their bedtime, and Brock snaps back with,
I don't have a bedtime!
Listen, Brock, I know you're trying to seem like a big boy to impress Officer Jenny, but let's be real. She's not going to lose interest in you if she finds out you have a bedtime. In fact, she can't lose interest in you because she never had interest in you in the first place. Do you just forget sometimes that you're actually a child, Brock? When the butlers bring in a meal for Ash and friends to say thank you for protecting the trophy, Ash exclaims that it's his favorite, but doesn't actually say what his favorite food is. Man, this reeks of the English dub team not being quite sure what food the Japanese animators have drawn here and being like,
Well, this don't look like no burger or fries I've ever seen. Let's just not say what it is and then no one can accuse us of anything.
Direct quote from Brock.
That's very nice. The cart is on my hand.
What? Direct quote from Ash.
I'll take burgers over burglars anytime.
Mate, there weren't even burgers on the cart. What happened to not specifying what food it was to avoid goofing up? Well, look what you've done now. You've goofed up. Apparently, Team Rocket missed their cue to arrive at midnight because they all fell asleep. Mate, that's just a fucking mood. That is too relatable, and I feel personally attacked. Team Rocket's balloon gets caught under Spinarak's web, preventing them from escaping. And their response is to try and move the balloon using giant fans. Mate, what do they think is happening here? Like, sure, the fans will move the balloon around in different directions, but they're under the web, so whether they move north, south, east, or west, they'll still be under the web. Team Rocket, use your noodles. Ash gets Bulbasaur to use Razor Leaf to burst Team Rocket's balloon. Huh. Remember last episode when Team Rocket's balloon was too high up, so Ash had to get Heracross to catapult Pikachu up to them? Why didn't he just use Bulbasaur's Razor Leaf? Answers on a postcard. Direct quote from Misty after Ash gets Charizard to use Flamethrower.
Charizard's flames are burning up the web.
Correction, Misty. Charizard's flames have already destroyed the web. Mate, this Spinarak's web is insane. It fires its web from upon Jenny's shoulder, and it goes so fast it manages to outspeed Ash's Charizard that's in full flight, and it manages to go so far that it goes all the way to Team Rocket's balloon and sticks to it. That's unbelievable. This stuff has the same range and velocity that ejaculation does, I swear.
Well, actually, Liam, don't you think you've made enough jizz references for one episode?
Look, this whole episode revolves around white sticky stuff that shoots out faster than a speeding locomotive. Sue me. Direct quote from Ash.
Now, Charizard, tackle him and send him flying.
But Ash, Charizard can't learn Tackle. I guess it does use Tackle though, so Ash is a hacker. Confirmed. After Ash tries to catch the falling trophy but is outclassed by Spinarak, we get this direct quote from Brock.
Too bad. Guess you can't always catch 'em all.
Wow, Brock, you sound just like Generation 8. You gotta be careful when you say things like that though, Brock. You're gonna make the internet cry. The next day, Brock tells Officer Jenny if she ever needs any more professional help, he hopes she'll think of them first. And I can't help but feel like that's such a pointless thing to say. day. After all, Ash and friends don't really have the best track record of revisiting places they've already been to, especially random filler towns. Brock also asks for Officer Jenny's phone number, but again, what's the point? Brock, mate, you don't even have a cell phone. Jesse calls Meowth and James thick, obviously meaning stupid, but James replies,
You know I'm watching my weight.
apparently James was dummy thick before it was cool. Pass it on. So those are my WTF moments of Pokemon Season 3, Episode 7, Spinarak Attack. Let me know your favourites and any that I missed down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Head to twitch.tv/AceTrainLiam for all of my live streams. I'd love to see you there. And when you order G Fuel, use code ACE to support this channel. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.